Okay, so this particular video will focus more on the fact and dimension tables. So multidimensional modeling is a data modeling that represents data in a cube with a cube operation, making more suitable logical data representation with all up data management. So remember in your database subject, so we use data modeling. However, the data modeling that we use represents data in relational databases where our focus are relations and relationships. Okay, such a result is appropriate for online transaction processing or transaction processing in general. The data warehouse, however, requires a concise, subject oriented schema that facilitates online data analysis. So, thus, multidimensional modeling is more appropriate in this particular case. So, therefore, we will be discussing here the different dimension models, the dimension and fact tables. Okay, so what are the elements of dimensional modeling? Dimensional modeling. Okay. First, we have the so-called fact, which is also known as measurements or metrics. So a fact simply holds measurable quantitative data about a particular business. So example of fact are or fact data are sales price data, sales quantity, data about time, speed, weight, distance, even uh, amount per unit. Those are examples of fact data. Dimension, on the other hand, are simply descriptive attributes related to fact data. So these are the product colors, the product models, let's say geographic locations, name of students, gender and address, and others. Okay. So therefore, if we talk about fact tables, we're just referring to a table that records measurement or metrics for a specific event. So fact tables are generally consist of numeric values and also foreign keys to dimensional data where the descriptive information is kept. So there are three main types of fact tables. One, we have transaction fact table. So, transaction fact tables record facts about specific event. Example, sales event. So we also have what is so-called snapshot fact tables. So these are tables that record facts at a given point in time. Example, account details at month end, sales detail in a given end of quarter, and so on and so forth. We also have accumulating snapshot fact tables. So these are those that record aggregate facts at a given point in time. Example, students' attendance count in a SEM, total amount of date sales for a particular product. So those are just few samples of accumulating snapshot tables. Okay, so how about the actual example of fact table? So this is our fact table example on sales fact table. So we have values, product ID, order ID, customer ID, employee ID, total quantity, and discount. So I mentioned earlier that fact table contains foreign keys to dimensional table. Okay, so these are the different foreign keys that we have in our fact table. So this particular foreign key is connected to the product dimension table. Later on, we'll be discussing dimension table. So these are part of the composite key of the sales fact table. Okay. So how about dimension table? So we mentioned about dimension table. So what is dimension table? So dimension table is simply tables that provide a context to the fact table measures to the fact table, these measures that they describe. So this contain descriptors of the business. So descriptors, these are nouns, contain textual and discrete data. So these are those that describes the who, what, where, why, and probably how of the facts. Okay. So dimension tables are usually smaller than fact tables. However, smaller in terms of records. However, when it comes to the number of columns, are they're relatively large. They are relatively consist of large number of columns. Okay, so they have what is so-called primary key, as primary key known as surrogate key. So if we talk about surrogate keys, so these are those that are system generated keys. So ito yung auto number. Kumbaga dun sa database 2 natin, when we use the SQL create table statement, we have yung identity in table creation. So identity is specifically one of the ways on how we can actually generate primary key. Okay, so dimension tables are joined to fact table through a foreign key reference to their primary key. Example of dimension table is this one. Okay, so let's try to analyze the anatomy of the dimension table. Dimension table usually consists of several parts, and we usually answer this given particular given question. So uh, it consists of primary key, natural key, detail attributes, some analytical attributes. Sometimes there are also hierarchies included in the dimension table. But given this particular example, which of among these are considered our primary key? So the rental product key is our primary key in this particular example. So this is a surrogate key. So that means system generated. So once we insert a record, a certain ID will be given to this will be given to a particular record, and it will be incremented every time you're going to insert another record into the table. Okay, so our natural key is this one. So this is equivalent to the primary key in our operational tables. So how about detail attributes? Aside from this natural key, rental product title may also be is also considered our detail attribute. These are the different analytical attributes. So rental product age classification and rental product box office rating. So this allows us to, these are actually resulted by analysis uh, of something such as, let's say, analysis of certain group of person to determine the uh, age classification. Okay, then we have your genre, category, and type are part of the hierarchies of this dimension table. Okay, so that's about, those are about the fact and dimension tables.